I'm Jon Salazar. I'm the founder and CEO of Gazelle Wind Power. And as a technology provider, Gazelle is considered now one of the most promising startups globally, delivering innovative solutions for the floating offshore wind industry. In Gazelle, we are obsessed with delivering best-in-class product for the floating foundation and the mooring systems, which account for over 40% of the total cost of a floating offshore wind project. Now, we need to act with urgency, and that's why, for us, we are so pleased to be here with you all today. If we want to stay on track with the 1.5 degrees global warming scenario from pre-industrial levels, we need to deliver over 300 gigawatts for floating offshore wind within the next 2 decades and a half. And we need to move now from a pipeline that is less than 200 megawatts, which is very important that we move rapidly. This is a total addressable market in excess of 650 billion euros, and these are very conservative figures from DNB. And at Gazelle, we strongly believe this is going to be multiplied at least 10 times. On this slide, you can see some of the markets where we have already patented our disruptive technology and where we have already achieved significant traction. The company is now delivering projects in Southeast Asia, in the Far East as well, in the US, west of the US, in Europe and the UK. And this is very important to understand our business model because depending on the wind, the current, the waves, and the tides, it is required to do bespoke engineering, and the solutions that we are delivering for one part of the world are very different than for another. For instance, for Asia Pacific, we are delivering solutions that resist typhoons, while for the west coast of the US, we need to deploy at over 1,000 meter water depths. So it's a huge market. Now, to turn all this potential into action, or to turn all this ambition into action, there are still several problems to be addressed, being the first one, very high manufacturing cost, because the old legacy designs coming from offshore oil and gas require a significant amount of steel or concrete in order to provide the buoyancy and the stability to keep a wind turbine safely operational. Gazelle is solving these problems by introducing a complete paradigm shift in the industry. By separating the floatability and the stability, we are able to reduce significantly the weight of steel. I'm going to show you now this video. I will say that I'm going to focus on the product because we are very proud of it, and this is the key at this stage. The most important thing of our product is, if we look, for instance, at regions like Southeast Asia, is that we want to become an enabler of local content. This is critical. For instance, in Asia Pacific, where we will set up operations in 2024, it's critical. It is critical that we are able to manufacture regionally. We expect that regional supply chains will be created. And if you look, for instance, on the average ports in Asia Pacific, most of the drafts are between 7 and 8 meters. Standard technologies have drafts between 13 to 15 meters for a 50 megawatt wind turbine size generator, and that requires significant investment in terms of billions of dollars, euros, for governments in order to improve those infrastructures. Gazelle, as you can see on this video, use flat plates. It's the first technology using flat plates because this doesn't come from offshore oil and gas. This comes from a shipbuilding approach, and this is disruptive technology. We own our proprietary technology. We are able to reduce the draft using this example, for instance, to 4.5 meters during the installation of the wind turbine at port, and we are able during the transportation to have a 7-meter draft. So that's why we are very rapidly achieving traction globally, specifically in countries like Taiwan, countries like Japan, and countries like South Korea. This could be the type of solution they require in order to enable mass production for floating wind. I wanted to give you that feel about the technology, but if we look at what makes us so unique and what is making us achieve traction so rapidly, let's say if a standard technology for a 50 mega wind turbine size generator has between 6 and 10,000 tons of steel in terms of weight, with Gazelle technology, we reduce the weight to approximately 2,000 tons. It's a very significant weight reduction that, of course, reduces the cost. The mooring lengths are also vertical, so we eliminate catenary chains. We reduce 75% mooring lengths. That has another huge impact in terms of costs, and also in terms of emission reduction of CO2 emissions. Per gigawatt of wind farm installed, we want to reduce 260 kilotons of equivalent CO2, and this is based on the steel reduction, based on our disruptive technology, and this is based also on the reduction of the mooring system. In a nutshell, Gazelle will become one of the benchmarks for floating offshore wind globally. We want to become the preferred choice for developers globally to use our technology, to couple with our technology. The technology has been tested and proven robust, has been independently verified by third parties such as DNV. These basin tank tests you can see on the screen were performed for Iberdrola, largest renewable energy company in offshore wind in the world. And the promise that Gazelle resembles has attracted significant leadership to our board already. I'm the founder of the company. I was the first investor. I exited my previous group of companies. I come from a family of naval engineers, naval architects. I'm not the inventor. I met the inventor when I was 7 years old, and he inspired me to become an engineer. I later on became a full-time entrepreneur, but I decided to exit the previous group of companies and commence Gazelle in December 2020. So we are a 2-year-old, 6-month-old baby, but that moves very rapidly, moves very quickly. Our chairman is Dr. Cavada. Cavada is the CEO of Mitsubishi Power for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Connie Hedegaard is the former Minister of Energy and Industry from Denmark and the ex-commissioner for climate action change from the European Commission. Mesonero is the head of corporate development and M&A from Iberdrola, and he's the former CFO at Siemens Gamesa, one of the largest OEMs in the world in wind. And we have other very well-known industrialists and investors as part of our board. The company or a group of companies is generating revenue based on maritime and engineering contracts, and we have a profitable subsidiary. And the scalability comes from licensing our technology. When I say licensing, is providing access to our patented technology to global developers and EPCIs, the engineering, procurement, construction, installation companies, but it's also providing them access to bespoke engineering. As I said before, it's very important to do bespoke engineering depending on the site. And we are working with leading OEMs. We're working with the largest OEM in the world, all in alignment with sustainability development goals 13 and 7 for climate action change and clean affordable energy. So in a nutshell, this is Gazelle. We are raising 23 million euros, and we have now under term sheet 25.8, and there is a syndicate of European investors. So as Joan was saying before, we can welcome investors from tickets from €250,000, €500,000 to now a very large industrial investor, one of the largest energy companies in the world, committing €20 million. This is Gazelle 10,000 meter view. Thanks so much for your attention.